Assalamu alaikum. My name is Dr. Sadia Bano. Today's the lecture topic is malpresentation and malposition. The purpose of this lecture is to have understanding regarding the abnormal lie, malpresentations and the malpositions. And how we are going to manage the malpresentations and the malpositions in a normal labor. Now, first of all is the abnormal lie. Abnormal lie is defined as when the longitudinal axis of the fetus is not lying along the longitudinal axis of the mother. The normal lie of the fetus is the longitudinal, in which the baby present either in a cephalic presentations or a breech presentations. If it is not aligned with the longitudinal axis of the mothers, then the fetus may be in a transverse positions, oblique positions, or sometimes we say it is an unstable lie. This diagram is showing the normal longitudinal lie of the fetus, in which the longitudinal axis of the fetus is in line with the longitudinal axis of the uterus. Now this diagram is showing different lie of the fetus: longitudinal lie, oblique lie and the transverse lie. This diagram is showing the oblique lie. Now the second important thing is the malpresentation. What is malpresentation? Malpresentation is when the lie of the fetus is normal, that is longitudinal, but the presenting part is other than the vertex. Any presentation other than the vertex is known as a malpresentation. It could be breech, face, brow, shoulder, or compound in which two parts presents, or as we can say that the head present with the arm or hand or foot, or sometimes the cord, or sometimes the cord may be the alone presentation, that it may be present below the head and the presenting part is the cord. Now the malpositions. What is the malpositions? Malposition is only of the we see in a vertex presentations. Normal position of the in a vertex presentation is a occipito anterior positions. Any other position of the vertex is known as a malpositions. That is, if it is in a whether it is in a occipito posterior positions or in a occipito transfer positions, it is called the malposition. There are different management protocols and criteria which we have to look in patients with these conditions. Now we are going to discuss the malpresentation one by one. First of all is the breech presentations. What are the factors which are involved in the malpresentations? It may be maternal and fetal. Among the maternal factors, there may be a grand multivariate. There may be some tumors that are obstructing the lower uterine segments and causing the malpresentations. There may be a pelvic contractures, or there may be some uterine abnormalities like the unicornuate or bicornuate uterus or uterus diadelphus that can lead to the malpresentations. Among the fetal causes, the malpresentation is usually seen in a fetus with the prematurity, in a case of a multiple pregnancies, or if there are abnormalities of the liquor like the polyhydramnios or the oligohydramnios, or if the fetal size is very large, in that case it may not be fit into the normal longitudinal lie and it can lead to the malpresentation. If the head size is very large, like in case of hydrocephalus, there may be malpresentations, as well as in the congenital anomalies of the fetus or the chromosomal abnormalities of the fetus. The most of the time the fetus present with the malpresentation. Breech presentation. Breech presentations is the second most common presentation after the vertex presentations, and it is usually seen in the 3 to 4% of the all deliveries at term. The breech presentation, the occurrence of the breech presentation decreases with the advancing gestational age. If there is a prematurity, then there is a more risk of having a breech presentation. Normally, the breech presentation is present in 25% of the births that occurs before 28-week gestations, and in 7% of the births that occur at 32 weeks, and at terms the incidence reduces up to 1 to 3%. There is a normal change in the position as with the advancing gestational age. The perinatal mortality is very high as compared to normal in case of a breech presentations, and there is a risk of congenital malformation is also very high with the breech presentations. So whenever a patient present with the breech presentations, it is the obstetrician responsibility to look for all the abnormalities, to check for all the abnormalities which can lead to the malpresentations that may be present in the mother or in the fetus. As we have already discussed that the breech presentations may be due to prematurity, it may be due to uterine abnormalities or the fetal congenital structures or chromosomal abnormalities. It may be due to multiple gestations, amniotic fluid abnormalities, and abnormal placentation. When there is a low-lying placenta, in that case there are high risk of having a breech presentation, and so we have to rule out the placenta previa in cases with the breech presentations. And other maternal problem like a contracted pelvis and the pelvic tumor, we also have to look for that when we are seeing a patient with a breech presentation. Now the types of breech. There are 3 types of the breech. It may be frank breech in 50 to 70% of the cases, the hip flexed and knees extended. Complete breech is seen in 5 to 10% of the cases, in that the hips are flexed and the knees flexed. And the third type of the breech is the footling or the incomplete breech, that is seen in 10 to 30% of the cases. One or both hips are extended and the foot is the presenting part. This diagram is showing the extended breech and the footling breech. This is a complete breech with the flexed hip and the flexed knees. This diagram is showing a frank breech. Now the positions. The position of the breech, in case of a breech presentation, the denominator is the sacrum. So the position of the breech could be a sacro-anterior, sacro-posterior, left sacro lateral or right sacrolateral, It could be left sacroposterior, or right sacroposterior, left sacroanterior, and the right sacroanterior. This diagram are showing the different position of the breech, that is the right sacroposterior, left sacroposterior, as well as the right and left sacrolateral, right and left sacroanterior. On the clinical examination, we assess the breech presentations with the, when we do the abdominal examinations, there will be a feeling of a bloatment in the upper uterine segment due to the presence of head. And on pelvic examination, if the patient present in labor, then we can feel a soft part presenting in the pelvis, but the definite diagnosis of the breech presentation is confirmed by the ultrasound. Management of the breech presentations vary from the normal presentations both in the antepartum periods, during labor, and in the delivery. When a patient presents with the breech presentations, there are three management options. One is the external cephalic versions, second is the elective cesarean sections, and third is the trial of the vaginal delivery. It depends upon the patient condition, obstetrician choice, and the other associated conditions or the medical conditions associated with the patient. External cephalic variant, it is a not easily acceptable procedure. Intervention is done on the live fetus. The purpose is to turn the position of a fetus from the breech presentation to the cephalic presentations. There are certain prerequisites for the external cephalic variant. If these are fulfilled, then we opt for the external cephalic variants. There are certain, but we consider these contraindications before performing the external cephalic variants, that we should exclude all these before performing the external cephalic variants. First is if there is any episodes of antepartum hemorrhage, we have to rule out the uterine anomalies, and we have to look for the amount of lichens, and we also exclude that there is any other reason for the lower segment cesarean sections. Then we should not combine the two conditions. And if there is a fetal death or anomaly, in that case there is no need for the external cephalic variant. This diagram shows the method of the external cephalic variants, in which the position of the fetus is changed from the breech to the vertex by moving it through the maternal abdomen externally. And in that conditions, it is necessary to keep the baby in a flexed positions, and with the hands and the forward somersault movements, the position of the fetus is changed from the breech to the vertex. And the purpose to have a normal vaginal delivery in a cephalic presentations. The success of the external cephalic variants, if the patient choice is good, then there is a success rate is up to 60 to 70%. And the methods, the precautions which we have to take before the external cephalic variant is that we should ensure that the gestational age should be more than 36 weeks, so that in case of any emergency, if we have to perform the cesarean sections, then there should be no risk of the prematurity. CTG should be performed prior to the external cephalic variants, and after the external cephalic variants, there is a need for the tocolytics to prevent the uterine contractions. And if the patient is in advancing gestational age, then in that case the patient should be induced to have a normal delivery. and later on, after the external cephalic versions, the cardiotocography is again repeated to exclude the fetal distress. And in case of a patient in which there is a blood group Rh negative, the anti-D is given because there is in that procedures there may be a risk of a fetal-maternal hemorrhage. Now the second option is the elective cesarean section. It is indicated in those fetuses with the breech presentations in which the estimated fetal weight is less than 2500 grams or more than 3500 grams. If it is a preterm breech, or on the ultrasound would detect that there is a hyperextension of the fetal head, and if there are other indications like the placenta previa or the oligohydramnios or the polyhydramnios, and if there is a footling breech, there is a risk of 10% risk of a cord prolapse, and in case of a complete breech, there is a 5% risk of a cord prolapse, and while in case of a frank breech, the risk of the cord prolapse reduces to less than 1%, and as well as in all patients with the primary gravida patients, because in that cases there is an external cephalic vision is difficult to some extent as compared to the multiparas. So we opt for the cesarean section in such patients. What is the criteria for the vaginal delivery and the cesarean sections? It is a comparison, this slide showing a comparison between a vaginal delivery and the cesarean sections with the breech presentations. For a vaginal delivery, the presentation should be a frank breech. The gestational age should be more than 34 weeks. There should be an average fetal weight from 2000 to 3500 grams. The pelvis should be adequate. The head should be in a flex positions. And if the fetus is non-viable or there is any anomalies, in that case we can opt for the normal vaginal delivery. But the cesarean section is favorable with the breech presentation if the estimated fetal weight is less than 1500 grams or more than 3500 grams. In case of a footling breech, if we have we says that the pelvis is small or there is a hyperextension of the fetal head or deflexed head, or there is poor progress of the labor, and if there is any risk of the prematurity or the elderly primary gravida, and there is a poor previous obstetric outcomes or the risk of the fetal distress, in all the cases the cesarean section is the choice in case of a breech presentation. Now we are going to discuss regarding the vaginal breech delivery. It is the third option. There are three types of the vaginal breech deliveries. First is the spontaneous breech delivery, second is the assisted breech delivery, and third is the total breech extractions. But the most favorable is the assisted breech delivery. Now what we do in the assisted breech delivery, however, it is not the choice to have a planned vaginal birth in a breech presentations as compared to the cesarean sections, but most of the patients present in an advanced labor and we have to perform the delivery in that cases, and in most of the cases with the frank breech presentations normally present in labor as in a cephalic presentation. The progress of labor is normal because it's properly fluid in the pelvis, so there is a rapid progress of the labors, and the labor advances as in case of a normal labor. So we have to deliver the fetus, but what are the prerequisites for the vaginal breech delivery that we have to confirm before doing the assisted breech delivery. The breech should be a frank breech, and there should be no sphalopelvic disproportion, and the fetal size should be adequate. There should be no hyperextension of the fetal head, and there is no fetal compromise. In all that cases, we prefer to do the assisted breech delivery. Now, the technique of the assisted breech delivery which is known as in that case the obstetrician have to do the masterly inactivity, that is the hands-off techniques, and the problems arise it becomes more traumatic for the fetus if the obstetrician speed up the delivery, or he or she tries to pull the baby. In that case, the problem arises. Now, as the normal labor progresses, the buttocks presents after the full dilatation of the cervix, and with the maternal efforts, the buttocks are delivered as in case of a normal labor. The vertex presents, and it will be spontaneously delivered with the maternal efforts. And if the legs are flexed, they will be delivered spontaneously, but if they are extended, sometimes we have to perform the Pinard maneuvers, in which we hinge out the limbs by flexing the legs at the knee joints with the gentle downward traction, and after that we just hold the baby and we encourage the mother to bear down, and we keep the baby in a wrap the baby in a dry warm sheet, and we keep the sacrum anterior. After that, the baby normally delivers up to the shoulders, and the arms are also delivered normally if they are in flex positions, but sometimes there is a problem in the delivery of the shoulders. In that case, we have to perform the Lobsets maneuvers, in which we rotate the baby through 180 degree so that the posterior shoulders become anterior, and as well as we give slight downward tractions, due to which the arm delivers, and the same procedure is repeated for the other arm, and so is by this methods the arms are delivered. After that comes the head delivery of the head. There are different maneuvers which are used for the delivery of the head, but the most common is the Morrissey smelly weight maneuvers and the delivery of the head by the application of a long bladed forceps. In a Morrissey smelly weight maneuvers, we do the baby lies on the obstetrician arm with the slight downward tractions, which is given with the hand, which is put in we put a finger in the mouth and we support with the two fingers on the axilla, as well as with the other hand we give a slight suprapubic pressures that help in the flexion of the head and delivery of the fetus head. And if there is a problem in that procedures, the other option or the best options to have a controlled delivery of the fetal head is to apply a long bladed forceps. The preferable are the pipal forceps that are used to deliver the fetal head, and there are less chances of morbidity with the application of the forceps. So this is all about the breech presentations. The other malpresentations and malposition we will discuss in the next lecture, inshallah. Allah Hafiz.